Alright, Merry Christmas everyone. It's been a while, but I'm back now. My first semester of college went well, and it's time to continue working on the Buzz Lightyear costume that I started a while back. So, I've made a new pattern for the arm. The old ones that I did, specifically the left side, were really tight on my arm, so now I'm going to redo that. I'm going to add about maybe half an inch to an inch on each side of this, just so when I wrap it around my arm, it feels good, but if it's too loose, I'm going to tighten it up. So, I think I'm going to start working on it. Here we go. I think an inch is too much, so I'm going to go with half an inch. Scratch that 3/4. So the reason that I didn't cut out the swoop was because I'm just making sure that it quote-unquote fits at this point. Another reason that I added on the 3/4 inches was so to account for the thickness of the foam, because the thickness adds the inside curve, since essentially the outside curve is going to be as big as a piece of paper. You need it to be a little bit bigger to give some allowance. Now that we've gotten this cut out, I'm going to fit it around my arm. I'm not going to heat form it just yet. This is pretty much just a test fit. I think that's going to fit. It's a little bit loose, but I think I'm going to put Velcro on the back here, and on the black undershirt that I'm going to use, put Velcro on the sleeves as well as where this is going to fit. So yeah, I think this is going to work out. So now I'm going to heat gun it. So as you can see, this sort of bends in just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. I'm just going to have to be slow when I cut it. So as you can see, we put a little bit of a dish in that. It sort of curves out, if you can sort of see the curve there. And now we're going to glue that in there, back into the same spot that it came from, so that it just sort of dishes out a little bit.
So I'm going to sand down this once that completely dries. Currently it's just at a tack. I think that's too thick, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that in half. So what we're going to do is we're going to, once this all dries, we're going to heat this back up and try and reform that so it's a bit more circular. This one had the same sort of issue. Hopefully that one's mostly been able to been reformed, so this one should be able to do the same. So yeah, there we go. So far, this just needs to dry. So I've put the base coat on. As you can see, it's this gray, and if you look, there's a few gaps. Well, it's probably more prominent here. So to fill that in, I'm going to try using silicone. I've seen a few people try this online. I'm not sure how well it works, but yeah, I'm going to try and just put a little bit of silicone in there in the gaps before I paint it white. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so now I'm going to let that dry and I'm going to go wash my hands because I got a lot on me. But first I'm going to seal up that with a little bit of duct tape. So. Alright, so now I'm going to make the forearm piece. So part of the problem with this is that when you try to fold it up, it gets stuck a little bit. So my solution is I'm going to sort of bevel the edges here. So as I was cutting this out on the bandsaw, it kind of slipped. So what I'm going to do is just put a little dab of glue there, and that should hold it, but I think that it's definitely looser, and it's going to work. So to sort of give you an idea of what I'm thinking, there's going to be one mounted about here. I'm going to flatten that out, and then there's going to be one on here, and it'll hopefully flip. I think I'll probably make a mock-up just to test it so I don't mess up this. So I'll show you what I get. Unfortunately, I've run out of the plastic that I used to create the foam rivets. However, I can go get that tomorrow or the next day, so it won't be long before I can completely finish this. But next, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to heat form these while the paint is drying outside. Currently it's being painted. I need to add on the details, but as of now, I'm just going to go ahead and heat form all of this. Wait a second, I can actually go ahead and sand down this area for the buttons that go there. Yeah. That'll work. So unfortunately the tape is pulled off this white here, so I'm going to let this dry, tape over it, do the red, and then repaint over with the white. So I'm going to mask off all of that, because if that pulls off, I'm already doing a white, so I won't have to redo it. So I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to go check on the other arm piece here in a second. So here we are. I have painted the arm pieces here, the shoulder, well, I guess bicep pieces might be a better term for it. For the laser tag there, I used my ladle maker to create laser there. Overall, I think that they've turned out well. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on the forearm pieces, and I found some more of that pipe that I had. So I'm not quite out yet, so I don't have to go shopping tomorrow. At least for now, so that's good. So I'll let you know how things are looking, I guess, within the next couple of days here.